Commission meeting for Tuesday, August 26, 2025. Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Manager McGill, can you do the roll call, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. Commissioner Flynn.
Present.
Commissioner Silverman.
Here.
Commissioner Swager-Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Grella.
Here.
Commissioner Siegler is not able to join us this evening.
I think Commissioner Swager-Wilson's going to do the highlights after you do the manager announcements. Is that right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes. Earlier tonight, Commission met in discussion session and received information and discussed the following items. We received a review of the capital improvement items identified for 2026. We heard an annual update on the status of items in the comprehensive plan. We received information on repairs that are needed to the culvert located in the Public Works Yard, and we heard updates on activities of the various boards from their commission liaisons. Prior to that meeting, the commission met in executive session to receive legal advice from the solicitor on a variety of topics and to discuss an appointment to a municipal board. The next regular meeting of the commission will be held on Tuesday, September 9th, and that meeting will begin at 8 p.m. in this room. Here are the ways the public can participate, either in person, you don't need to pre-register, simply show up at the appropriate meeting time, or remotely via the Zoom webinar format. Again, you don't need to pre-register, simply click the link located on the meeting agenda on the municipal website. If you wish to speak during citizens' comments or during public hearings, simply use the raise hand feature on Zoom and you'll be notified when it is your turn to speak.
Okay, here we go. Here's a tongue twister. We're going to start out with that. This Friday is the final Friday of the summer. Enjoy the last of our summer concert series in Clearview Common on Friday from 6 to 9. We're featuring the Grateful Dead inspired music of Fungus. What a lovely name. One of the Pittsburgh's most popular bands, sorry. Admission is free, and we invite you to start the evening in our uptown shops and restaurants. Hope to see you there. Mount Lebanon municipal offices will be closed on Monday, September 1st in observance of Labor Day. We will not collect trash or recycling that day. All pickups will be delayed one day for the rest of the week. Mount Lebanon residents can drop off yard waste at the golf course maintenance facility on Pine Avenue on Saturday, September 6th and September 20th from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Leaves in recyclable craft bags, small twigs, shrubs, brush, and branches under 3 feet are accepted. No grass clippings, stones, soil, stumps, large limbs, or plastic bags will be accepted. Get ready for the annual Mount Lebanon Artist Market presented by the Mount Lebanon Partnership on Saturday and Sunday, September 27th and 28th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Academy Avenue parking lot. This juried arts festival attracts artists from all over the tri-state area. Check out dozens of booths, food, and music with the whole family. Kids can participate in the Kids Paint Out too. You should be receiving your copy of Mount Lebanon Magazine any day now. Inside that issue, you'll find the schedule for the Fall Leaf Collection, which will begin in October. Please tear out that page and save it for reference. Please do not blow leaves into the street until the program begins. Doing so will clog the storm sewer catch basins, leading to flooding during rain. That's all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Swager-Wilson. Let's go to citizen comments, online comments. Do we have online comments?
Nobody has their hand raised.
Great. Let's go in the room. We have Colonel Hoon first up. Thanks.
Bill Hoon, 456 Coolidge Avenue. I'm a little tired tonight because I've had 4 surgeries since last Thursday morning, and
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
starting to catch up to me. The group almost let me off tonight, but they said, you think you can do it? Do it, just don't hurt yourself. They also had a question for the commissioners. They know my background in the biological sciences, but nobody knows anything about you folks. Anybody on the commission ever had a course in biology? One course at college level, undergraduate?
2, if I remember correctly.
What was that?
2.
Two.
When I was, yeah.
Okay. Because in the course of my studies and my experiences, I've developed a lot of respect for the creatures of the planet and also for the enemies of our country that sincerely wanted to kill people like me. So, you know, these folks are just wondering, you understand, over a period of 20-plus years, all the folks in our group have learned an awful lot about living things, and specifically deer. And we still encounter an awful lot of ignorance out there when we talk to people. There's still people in this township that think deer carry Lyme's disease. And we terminated that within 2 weeks of when Barbara Logan brought it up. Doesn't happen. And she ceased talking about it, by the way. But we've gone through item after item after item. Every one of the statements that have come out of the commission concerning deer have been false. Every one. There hasn't been one that the commission has been able to throw up and say, this is why we got to kill these deer. I mean, the deer are a real problem. The deer are not a problem. They've never been a problem in Mount Lebanon or any of the surrounding areas. Been here 12 million years. No trouble at all. And then people come in and plant their petunias and they expect to not have to take care of their plants. I have a cat. My cat reminds me if I'm not taking care of him. Now, these plants can't do that. But if you take on the responsibility of living with another living thing, it's your responsibility to take care of it. And how do we do that? I mean, we know how to do it. Crying out loud. We've had speakers over there at the library, time after time. We had a forum over at the high school with one expert at least. We also had one of the kill team there, and that was the one that got all the attention. The expert didn't think we had a real problem, but you know, she said, that's up to you. You have to define your own problems. Now, my entire career has been on identifying what is an issue and what is not an issue. And in a lot of what I did, if I screwed up, people got killed. So I don't screw up. I just don't do that. I know how to define a problem. Now, the commission hasn't done that. What's the story? I mean, we've spent all this money, we've killed all these deer, and you guys have not even defined a problem. The problem is those flowers. These folks think they can plant these things and just leave them there. Now, we know if you put up a fence, they'll be there the next day. But you don't want to say that. What's the problem?
Button is not stopping.
Scored that. John Reagan.
Good evening. My name is John Reagan of 777 Shady Drive East, and this is the fifth in a series of talks I'm giving before the Commission and the Planning Board critiquing Mount Lebanon's zoning and development laws. Tonight, I'm going to take a second swing at our street design standards from Chapter 16, Appendix 5 of the Municipal Code, since last time I mainly complained about organization, classifications, and the humongous size of minimum intersections for our local streets. Also, I was busy and I didn't have time to research a new topic. Tonight, I'll be doing more of a line-by-line commentary. So the blanket 50-foot minimum right-of-way is a bit generous. The drawings indicate it's intended to leave room for brisk two-way traffic, unusually large buffer zones that I'm guessing are for street trees, and sidewalks on both sides, plus a little extra. I know that some existing local streets have 50-foot rights-of-way, but I'm not sure if any of them actually use it all other than Castle Shannon Boulevard. So when you think 50 feet, think every single street must have the potential to become Castle Shannon Boulevard at minimum, but replace the street parking with wider lanes and street trees. The meaning of the table is ambiguous regarding anything to do with intersections, but an angle as close as possible to 90 degrees is generally good for vehicular roadways, which is the only street type covered. I complained about cartway paving width last time. I will admit our truly bad streets from a safety perspective are generally the ones above the minimum standard, but even adding just a couple feet of above the strictly necessary width probably costs Mount Lebanon tens of thousands of dollars per year per mile in maintenance. The minimum cul-de-sac radius matches the AASHTO recommendation for a big tractor trailer, but the minimum pavement width is more in line with the AASHTO recommendation for a small tractor trailer. Meanwhile, some radical planners suggest not designing residential cul-de-sacs for tractor trailers at all, but rather for the sort of local delivery truck that might be dropping off furniture or something. No major complaints about grading, but as I said the last time, the curb return radii are atrocious. There are no maximums, and in at least some cases, the minimums are higher than I would expect the maximums to be. I'm not sure that I really know how to do clear sight triangles, but I think what these numbers mean is that a car should be able to cleanly pull out from a two-way stop or a driveway onto any local street where traffic is going less than 20 miles per hour. And I'm not so sure that synergizes with the next part about minimum radius for a bend in the road being 125 feet. A couple months ago, I got an angry honk from a motorist when I was riding my bicycle and slowed down to 20 miles per hour at the kink in Shady Drive, which has no radius to speak of. Turns out that a 6-foot wide vehicle in a 12-foot wide lane has a lot of wiggle room for going around curves at speed, even if the turning radius of the road itself isn't that great. It seems unnecessary to demand smooth highway-style alignments for residential developments, where there might theoretically be children playing outside, when some of our busier local streets seem to be managing all right without them. This provision for mandatory big swoopy curves has tons of implications for lot subdivision and building setback too. 200 feet is the design stopping sight distance for about 30 miles per hour. It is somewhat curious that the same minimum applies to all street classifications. The 250-foot minimum block for residential subdivisions seems pretty innocuous, but the 1,600-foot maximum is excessively generous and allows a lot of block configurations that are quite hostile to pedestrians. Finally, perhaps the standard sidewalk and curb reinforcement details should be updated to reflect modern vehicle sizes and typical Amazon truck unloading practices. Thank you.
Carolyn and Rich Seymour. Just Rich.
I apologize, gentlemen. I don't have a written speech or anything. I'm just here tonight to find out a little bit more about what's going to happen with the South Garage. I know it's a major project, as you know, we've been talking about for many, many years. It has I'm sorry, I live at 750 Washington Road, Washington Square condominiums. It has an enormous impact on our building, on our residents in our building. We park there, obviously any construction, destruction or construction will have an impact on living there. And obviously when the garage goes down, before it's rebuilt, we won't have any place to park, potentially. So there's lots of impacts to our building, financial and emotional and physical, whatever. I would like to hopefully have a better communication with the commission as we move forward with whatever plans we're going to have for that space, specifically with our building. I don't know if we need to have a, special liaison or something like that, but it would be important for us to know what's happening there.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons I mentioned that, like when you look at the CIP document and you see a figure like 55 million there's no South Garage project. The only South Garage project that was brought up was the fact that the building has some deferred maintenance and needs a certain amount. We did a study on it that showed we need a certain amount of money to bring the building back to a certain standard. Nobody on the commission wants to do that. So really, there's no big project in the works yet, meaning like there's no plan to rebuild that building or to expand that building, that kind of stuff. We've started talking about the building has maintenance that needs to be done on an annual basis, and there's money that's going to be spent for that, and that's pretty much ongoing. And then we're trying to discuss what happens with that building in the future. We don't know if there's going to be a project 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, but there's no $55 million project that this commission has discussed going on with the South Garage building. I'm laughing because the reason I said that in the meeting is because I knew people are going to look at that and go like, whoa, what's this $60 million project at the South Garage?
Yeah, but I'm going to change a little bit. I'm going to disagree a bit. We all know that the South Garage needs to be replaced. It is at the end of its life. It's older, I think, than me, although I'm not quite sure that that's true. It's old, like me. And so we are looking at what possibilities exist, but we really, frankly, aren't very far along. The biggest thing we've done to date is to have kind of what I'm going to call a feasibility study to look at the site, to look at the underpinnings of the site and what type of construction, very broadly speaking, would make sense, what size might make sense, all, out here in the areas that we should consider. I think the most interesting thing you brought up tonight, or maybe the most important, would be the liaison, and that we figure out a way to have ongoing communication with you, because it is going to be disruptive. There isn't any way to make it not disruptive. We can't, we aren't going to have perfect resolutions to being able to get you to park right here, but there ought to be ways that we can try to minimize those disruptions. And I know that we're already working on that. Mr. McGill has already been exploring other possibilities for parking for you, all of you, and for the people that on a day-to-day basis use the South Garage, because it's
A lot of people use that garage.
Yes. We don't have an answer for you yet, and we're not in the habit of coming out with what our plans might be, because we need to really think through all the options and the prices and all that kind of thing. But the ongoing liaison is something I won't forget. And I think as we get further on down the line, we'll figure out a way to have an open communication with you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
As your commissioner, I actually have come, all right, and spoken several times. I was actually scheduled to speak recently, but I was unable to because I had unexpected travel. I am committed to being your liaison and keeping that dialogue going. The update was essentially what you just got. There really isn't anything tangible to engage on at this point, but I am committed to ensuring that every resident, right, has that opportunity to engage in that process.
I would also add one thing. I think the recent projects that the municipality has worked on, whether it's Uptown, the comprehensive plan, some of the public projects that we've done. I think the staff has done an amazing job of working with whatever consultants have been on the board to really engage the public. We had, I don't know how many, like dozens of meetings with the public on comprehensive plan, and they were out at different meetings in public. So in addition to what Andrew's saying, I think when we get to the point where we have something more tangible, I would expect that that will be built in, where they'll have public meetings. Some of the last projects we did, we set up almost like focus groups, where we had groups of residents come in, we had business owners come in. So I would expect that there would be more of that before it gets anywhere near like even the proposal stage.
Right, just not
Yeah.
there. We'll make
Yeah,
sure he
and
does
always,
it.
and feel free, you can always call an email. I'm always happy to field questions, do whatever I can.
Thank you.
Dave Egler, there he is, he's hiding back there.
On Poplar Drive. I wasn't planning on speaking on South Garage, but since I heard a little bit about it, I kind of go back with Commissioner Flynn on the board. I can't believe that was about 15 years ago when I got on. And I think my number one concern at that time was the South Garage. What plans are out there? And when I left 10 years later, which is 5 years ago, I think my last words of wisdom were, you know, commissioners at that time, you guys need to come up with a plan. Don't wait, because time marches on. And here we are, same situation. I warned you at that time and said, hey, you don't want to be putting money into something that you're planning on tearing down. And you don't want it to deteriorate so bad that you're gonna have a dangerous situation. So hopefully this doesn't get put off any longer, and these plans are looked at a little more thorough, and we move along.
We are in process, we're in process, we just don't have anything tangible, trust me. Ongoing.
I realize it's in process, but, you know,
We've
sometimes we
retained a
can.
consultant.
Yeah,
We're
we're
very far into the process. Right now, we're just trying to make sure that we're identifying, as Mr. Seymour indicated, all of the issues that need to be addressed, not the least of which is what do we do for replacement parking during the 2-year period approximately, when that structure will not be in place and not be an option for people. That's a very important consideration for us. So we're working internally to identify what the options are to address that particular issue, as well as others.
We even look at things like, you know, in the 15 years, like you mentioned, you know, we now have electric cars, and in a couple of years, we'll have self-driving cars. So we even have conversations like, do we need 300 spots, or is the right number 50 spots? So like, we've had these conversations, and it takes time to go through them. If we're not gonna do 300 spots, then is it a different structure? And that's the kind of stuff we're going through. So like, we're thinking about it. It's not like we're ignoring it, and it's like, hey, in 15 years, we'll figure it out when the building falls.
Well, I know in the late 70s and into the 80s, that garage many times was filled during the day. I assume you're still doing counts right now. I'm kind of curious, on an average day, what's the percentage use of the south garage? If I had to guess, I would say you'd be lucky 25%. Am I in a ballpark?
It's closer to 50%.
I was
It's
gonna say
closer
it's
to
closer
50
to
during
50.
the height, okay. And
And
it's
the north
improved.
garage is almost totally full.
Yeah, the north garage always
Yeah.
got good use. The south garage, I know it going down, especially during COVID, it was almost like
Yeah.
a ghost town.
Yeah, but.
I'm glad to see it's come back,
Yeah.
so. Okay, my real topic, which I doubt if you have your discussion on capital improvement on page 43, you probably don't have your copy there, but it has to do with my favorite topic of the Pennsylvania Boulevard development, which I'm disappointed to see that once again, every year it gets pushed back to the 5-year mark going out. Points I want to point out here, and some of these things I've brought up with questions in the past, haven't really gotten a good answer, but in here in the description and justification, it mentions requires securing a legal right for the public to use the right-of-way, okay, leading to the property. Why do I, who have been using it for 40 years, need a legal right on that right-of-way?
You don't, you're in that subdivision plan. The rest of the residents in this municipality, the majority of those are not. The question, and I want to speak for the solicitor, was, do we have the right, even though we would own property, to grant right of access for a park purpose to the public? Because you would be crossing right of way that is essentially owned by private property owners, because as you know, that section of Pennsylvania Boulevard was never dedicated or accepted by the municipality. So we were trying to see what the process would be. We have a developer who's got an approved development, that if that developer goes through with that, they would improve that roadway to municipal standards back to the point of their development, which would give us that right of access potentially for some of the parcels involved in the park property.
Well, as far as that property and that, I know you're using some of the legal terms here. My recollection was it was, we'll say dedicated, offered to the municipality, but the municipality did not accept it. So it comes under the lane company definition. But I guess I look at it once again, there's no signage, no nothing. How can you stop any individual going down there right now on that property? I mean, and let's move away from there for a minute and just look at that property again and the cost. Some of these figures, like the land acquisition, I'm kind of curious what the $70,000 entails in the land acquisition. I've said many times that it could be either sheriff's sale or eminent domain. I'd like to see if there's some sort of a breakdown there. Planning and design, $12,000. Hey, I'll do it for $12. I can go down and walk right through. I mean, come on. It's little parcels on a hill. There's not much to it. I'll get a wiggly line and say, here's our walking trail, and and then come back by the right of way. So I don't think you need to spend that much money. I think these numbers are overstated by quite a bit. And like I said, the only number that's changed in the last 5 years is the contractual construction. Kind of curious about that. That's kind of high at 50,000 to maybe put wood chips down. And with the last 5 years, with the inflation that we had out there, I'm kind of surprised the numbers haven't moved at all. So whoever we're contracting with in this to keep the numbers the same, they're doing a really good job. But I'd like to get some answers on the land acquisition. What thoughts are out there? How would we do it? And what are the true costs? From when I had investigated this a while back, that number's quadrupled. I mean, I was told it would be somewhere in the teens to acquire those properties. And I wasn't given an answer at that time as to how we would acquire the property. So I'd like to know what the plan is and the breakdown of the costs. And I don't need any answers tonight, but it would be nice if I can have some answers towards that at the next meeting. Is that possible?
That's up to the group at the front of the room. I act at the direction of the commission, meaning 3 or more commissioners.
Okay, well, for the people in front of the room, I will be back and I will keep bringing that up until I get an answer. So just so you're aware. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Anybody online now?
Fast TV audience.
Maybe? No? All right, we'll move on. Let's go. Commissioner Flynn, please. Item number 3.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to approve the minutes from the adjourned meeting held July 22nd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Commissioner Swager Wilson, item number 4, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is introduction of ordinance bill number 3-25 concerning a lease for the apartment space at the golf course. Nicholas Chico and the municipality proposed to enter into a lease for an apartment at the municipal golf course located at 1000 Pine Avenue. Under the charter, lease of real estate by the municipality must be approved by ordinance. I move to introduce ordinance bill number 3-25.
Second.
Do we have to vote on that, or can I just make a motion?
Ooh, to vote on it.
Okay. So I move to enact by special procedure under section 1114.6 of the Administrative Code.
Which requires a roll call vote. Would you like me to take that roll call vote?
Please, thank you.
Mr. President. Commissioner Flynn.
Aye.
Commissioner Silverman.
Aye.
Commissioner Swager Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Garella.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item number 5, Commissioner Silverman, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Consideration of bids received by the Shaycog Purchasing Alliance to supply rock salt for the 2025-2026 winter season. Shaycog opened bids on July 31st, 2025 for the supply of bulk rock salt to member communities for the upcoming winter season. Bids were submitted by Cargill Incorporated, initial price of $91.48 per ton, and Compass Materials America Incorporated at $88.32 per ton delivered. The price represents an increase of less than 1% from the cost per ton in 2024-2025. The agreement also allows for 2 annual renewals in 2026 and 2027. Mr. President, I move to accept the bid for the supply of bulk rock salt at $88.32 per ton as submitted by Compass Materials America, Inc., and authorize the proper municipal officials to execute the contract.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Flynn, item number 6, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Consideration for the award of the North Garage Elevator Car Number 3 upgrades. Project documents and pricing were provided by Otis Elevator for the upgrade of Elevator Car Number 3, which serves the north parking garage structure from Parsway to the LRT station on Shady Drive East. The project will include the upgrade of the existing elevator that serves the LRT platform from Parsway. The current car has been taken out of service due to the failure of an underground hydraulic supply line. The upgrades will provide a new cab interior, electrical service, and required upgrades in the machine room, as well as a solid-state starter and other energy improvements that will provide a 65% increase in overall car efficiency by switching from hydraulic to a belt-driven system. The proposal from Otis is presented on your screen with a project cost of $329,750. The facilities coordinator recommends the project be awarded to Otis Elevator. The contractor has completed similar system upgrades in many other commercial settings in a satisfactory manner and currently holds the maintenance contract on both parking garage structures. This work falls under the National Cooperative Purchasing Program, which has been competitively bid. $335,000 was appropriated in the 2025 budget for this project. Mr. President, I move to award the North Garage Elevator Car Number 3 upgrade contract to Otis Elevator in the amount of $329,750.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on this? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Flynn, item number 7, please.
Thank you once again, Mr. President. Consideration for the adjustment to financial security posted for the Concordia of the South Hills Parking Garage and Courtyard Improvements Project. Concordia of the South Hills has requested a full release of the financial security posted for improvements installed for the Parking Garage and Courtyard Improvements Project. The request has been reviewed and verified by the municipal engineer by letter dated August 11th, 2025, and it has been recommended to approve the full reduction of financial security posted, a total of $152,424. Mr. President, I move to release the financial security posted for improvements for the Concordia of the South Hills Parking Garage and Courtyard Improvements Project in the amount of $152,424.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Smarter Wilson, item number 8, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is about the appointment of representatives to the South Hills Area Council of Governments. A recent amendment to the SHACOG bylaws states that the governing body of each member government shall appoint both a primary and an alternate representative. If desired, it may also appoint a second alternate member. The primary representative shall be an elected municipal official. The alternate and second alternate, if appointed, may be either an elected municipal official or an official from the municipality's administrative staff. The municipality makes the following appointments to the South Hills Area Council of Government Board of Directors. Primary representative, Andrew Flynn. Alternate, Keith McGill. Second alternate, Jeff Siegler. I move to appoint Andrew Flynn as the primary representative and Keith McGill and Jeff Siegler as the alternate representative to the SHACOG Board of Directors.
I don't know if I want to second this.
Quick, jump in, Steve.
You already did.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
You're welcome.
Item number 9, Commissioner Silverman, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appointment to the Financial Management Board. I move to appoint James Capucci of Roycroft Avenue to an unexpired term ending 3/31/2027.
Second.
Favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner
Oh, me, I guess.
Swager Wilson, item number
Yeah.
10, please.
This is consideration of the expenditure list for July totaling $6,153,496.61. I move to approve the expenditure list for July totaling $6,153,496.61.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Mr. President, if I may, my daughter is an employee of Gateway Engineers, therefore I am abstaining from voting on this amendment here, or this board action. I also request this memo be filed with the minutes of tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Silverman. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I should say, any opposed? And there's no more commissioners to oppose it.
No.
That's it. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Commissioner Flynn, item number 11, please.
Mr. President, I ask that the reports be received and filed.
And they shall be. We are adjourned. Thank you.